it's an automatic entitlement for your employees to be part of your pension scheme as an employer. Now, let's just recap. So 10 years ago, we had stakeholder pension come in, introduced by the government, because they recognised that many millions of people didn't have any pension saving whatsoever.
No provision at all.
No provision at all. And so they wanted employers to recognise that they should have a pension scheme in place for their employees if they want to join.
Right.
The point is, it wasn't compulsory for the employee or the employer to pay in. The only requirement was for the employer to have a pension scheme in place. Well, the first 2 years is a fairly soft start. You're looking at a 3% contribution. That will be 1% from the employer, 2% by the employee. But by 2018, I know that seems a long way away, then the minimum contribution that has to go into a pension scheme for your employees has to be 8%. It's actually 3% for the employer. It's actually the employee that pays 5% minimum. So that's quite, I think, unless you look into it, you'd be mistaken for thinking it might be the other way around. So if I'm an employee, I'm thinking, well, that's all right, my employer's going to pay the 8%. No, in fact, by 2018, there'll be 5% coming out of your pay packet. The employer is only required to pay 3%, so that 8% in total qualifies under the auto-enrolment provisions. Hello, I'm Philip Skinner, Shaw Walker Lees. But the key thing is, plan early. Don't take my word for it. After this, why don't you go and talk to your accountant or your financial advisor, talk to people who help you run your business and actually pin them down. What's this about auto-enrolment? You need guidance. It's really important that you, as the employer responsible, have an understanding of what it entails, because then and only then, I think, can you really begin to get the process moving, because you've really got to drive it. It's all very well relying on other people, but I think you need to really go for that process. Engage your staff, have some workshops, some seminars, you know, so you can have a question and answer session. That's really, I think that's quite important. We found that very useful for some of our clients who've already got engaged in this process and what it really means for them. Ultimately, your employees are going to want to know how much you're going to put in, because that's fundamental for them. But see it as a way of retaining staff, and pay careful attention to the paperwork when you get it. You'll be given a number of options, such as where should you invest your money? That's your decision. It's up to you. It depends on your risk profile. So you really need to talk to someone about assessing your risk profile, what it means for you. Diversifying, not just diversify the actual portfolio itself within the pension plan, but about some of your other assets and investments that you have. You know, try and spread it around a bit. That is really key. Diversification. Don't have all your eggs in one basket. You know, but don't be complacent about pension. Don't rely on it entirely. It is really down to you. But as I said, plan ahead, talk to people like us. We can guide you, and that's the most important thing.